Hello and welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast brought to you by manscaped.com. It's our pre-match live / transfer update show. Hello and welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast brought to you by manscaped.com. It's a match day, so not only are we bringing you our pre-match live, we are going to be taking you through the latest transfer news as well. There have been some updates today, not the kind of updates that you guys probably want to hear though. There is no updates regarding incoming players. I want to get that out of the way straight away. There is no news regarding Symeou. There is no news regarding Thomas Partey. And there is no news regarding anybody else coming in at the moment, at the time of me going live on this stream. But there is news regarding some potential outgoings. We're going to come on to talk about that in just a couple of minutes' time. First of all, we're going to spend a few minutes just looking ahead to tonight's game. Arsenal travel to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup to take on Jurgen Klopp's side. I say Jurgen Klopp's side. It doesn't seem like Jurgen Klopp is all that interested in the competition. Actually, he even sent his assistant Pep Linders into the press conference as well, because you know Jurgen Klopp's got this ongoing thing, hasn't he, where he doesn't seem to give a shit about the cup competitions, which kind of adds to the pressure for me on Arsenal to do the job tonight. Now, of course, Arsenal went to Anfield in the Carabao Cup last season in the round of 16. It was a 5-5 draw, an incredibly entertaining game. Goals for Arsenal that night from Lucas Torreira, a couple from Gabby Martinelli. Maitland-Niles got one, and I remember an excellent goal from Joe Willock. I remember as well, in particular, a man who's been cast out and cast aside since, but Mesut Ozil, he had a great game up at Anfield in that one. And I remember going into it saying, he hasn't played for ages, we're going to throw him in, we're going to expect miracles, he's not going to deliver, and then the critics will start again. And that was kind of the beginning of when we started to think maybe, you know, this guy still has something to offer, but, you know, it's not to be with Mesut Ozil. I'm not going to get bogged down in that. Just wanted to bring up the fact that it was a very entertaining encounter last season. It did go to penalties where unfortunately Arsenal lost. Liverpool progressed into the last 8, but it is what it is. I think every Arsenal fan out there acknowledges that this is not our priority this season. It is a cup competition. It is an opportunity for silverware. But Arsenal's main objective this season is to get into the UEFA Champions League by hook or by crook, you know, however it needs to be done. Arsenal need to be there ASAP. And the difference between the Europa League, let's say, and the Carabao Cup, aside from being a far more prestigious European trophy, is that the Europa League offers a route back into the UEFA Champions League. And so for me, Arsenal's priorities this season have to be those two competitions, the Premier League and of course the Europa League. If you pick up an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup along the way, it's nice, it's great. And in the case of last season where we were so far off the pace in terms of our league position, well, the FA Cup proved our saving grace because it made sure that we got ourselves some European football, some form of European football, and therefore increased our opportunities and increased our chances of making the Champions League for next season. So I'm going to go on to give you guys sort of my predicted lineup for tonight's game, and then we'll come on to talk a little bit about transfers, and I'll get you guys' questions and thoughts from the live chat. Just a quick reminder that if you haven't called it already, if you go back on the channel, it's also available on the audio platforms. You'll be able to listen to last night's transfer update show where I was joined by former Arsenal striker Kevin Campbell. And if you go back to the night before, you'll find one with Adrian Clark. So we've had some excellent guests already this week. So please head over there and check those out. And yeah, they gave their thoughts and their takes on the rumoured transfers and what it is Arsenal need to do. And of course, we looked back at the defeat at Anfield, on Merseyside against Liverpool earlier this week. Right, let me share with you guys my starting 11 and what I guess I've kind of tried to go with what I think Mikel Arteta is going to go with more than anything. So here it is. I've gone with Leno in goal. I'm not keen on the idea of throwing Runarsson into this game. And I guess, we brought Runarsson in to be a backup to Bernd Leno. We brought Runarsson in to be the number two. And under normal circumstances, I'd probably say the number two would play this game. The problem is that I feel like, and this might be a complete misconception because I've got to be honest, I've never watched Runarsson play. But I feel like Runarsson is just, I don't feel like he's anywhere near the level of player that Arsenal need. And I feel like bringing in Runarsson was very much the club's way of, you know, bringing in another goalkeeper to plug a hole, but trying to turn a massive profit. I don't think had finances not been an issue, had we not been after some certain high-profile, very expensive midfielders, then I don't think Arsenal would have even, entertain the idea of bringing Runarsson to the club. But we clearly saw him as someone with some talent, someone that Inaki Kanya recommended, and someone that could come in and essentially do a job as a number two, on a budget. And that's the thing for me. Would I throw him in tonight? Me personally, no. Would I be surprised if he played tonight, though? No. So, I'm trying to go with kind of what I think Mikel Arteta is going to do, but also with what I would do. And I'm trying to infuse the two together, and I would go with Bernd Leno. I think Bernd Leno needs the confidence. I think Bernd Leno needs the game time, if I'm honest. So, yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Moving on to the back three, I think Sead Kolasinac plays on the left side of that central defence. You're probably wondering why, when there are a lot of rumours, a lot of reports going around with regards to Sead Kolasinac's future. As I understand it, and we'll come on to talk about it in a bit more detail, there has been no progress yet in those talks with Bayer Leverkusen regarding Sead Kolasinac. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sead Kolasinac plays tonight. And I think Sead Kolasinac probably will play. And again, it's a prediction. Maybe the talks are further down the line. If there is progress today, for example, you could see Mikel Arteta's mind change on that. In the heart of the defence, I think Gabriel plays. I think that Gabriel was desperately unlucky to miss out on the trip to Liverpool in the Premier League. I feel like the fact that he's left-footed probably worked against him when Mikel Arteta was making that decision. But I do expect him to come into the side tonight. I think centre-back... well, I say centre-back, they're all centre-backs, but in the centre of that three-man defence is probably Gabriel's best position, or on the left, sorry. But I think Kolasinac will play, so I think Gabriel starts in the middle. On the right side of the back three, I've stuck with Rob Holding. I feel like Mikel Arteta is a little bit unsure about William Saliba still. Obviously, William Saliba is still very, very young. The guy is just 18 years old. And you have to bear that in mind. The problem is that he came in for such a huge fee that everybody kind of expected him to come in and hit the ground running. I think the fact that William Saliba is still so young, is still so fresh, is still so raw, is probably one of the reasons that Arsenal went out and took a punt on Gabriel. Because Gabriel, although still fairly young, I think he's 22, he's a lot more experienced than William Saliba. He's played a lot more top-level football, and Arsenal feel like he's someone with potential, but he's also a little bit further down the progression line. So I still don't think Saliba starts. Again, I could be wrong. This is my predicted 11, what I would go with. I think Holding gets the nod on the right side of the central defence. Right wing back, I'm going with Cedric Suarez, back fit again. I don't think Hector Bellerin will play. I think that this is a perfect opportunity for Cedric to come back in. Very experienced player. No concerns with regards to that. No concerns with regards to, him sort of being blown away by the occasion. I know it's just a Carabao Cup game, but it is a trip to Anfield. And I think Cedric will do just fine at right wing back. On the left-hand side, I've gone with Bukayo Saka. Congratulations to Bukayo Saka and to Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who have been called up to the senior England squad, which is an incredible achievement. I know Maitland-Niles was there last time around, but Saka is in there for the first time. So massive congratulations to him. In the middle of the park, I think Joe Willock comes in, and I think that Mohamed El-Neni will play alongside him. Now, I know El-Neni started the game on Monday, but I think that Dani Ceballos will be wanted for the game on Sunday against Sheffield United, and on that basis, I've gone with El Neni alongside Willock, and I think the front three is probably the easiest part of the team to pick. I think it's very clear that given the sort of the display at Leicester, that we're going to see Pepe, that we're going to see Nketiah, and we're going to see Reece Nelson there. So looking forward to seeing what those three can produce again. Let's see. So that is my starting 11 for tonight's game at Anfield. In terms of a prediction, I'm going to tip Arsenal to do this one. I'm going to tip Arsenal to just edge it. Whether that is on penalties, I don't know. But I feel like Liverpool are going to make a lot of changes, and that could work in our benefit. Interestingly, though, when we talk about Liverpool making changes, and I've already spoken about the way Jurgen Klopp, the way Jurgen Klopp is always sort of very dismissive of this competition. I thought that this team, the team he would pick, would be really, really, really weak, really under strength. And again, I don't know how true this is, because obviously at the time of this going live, we are still a good, 2 hours away from knowing what the starting 11s are going to be. But there was a tweet put out by someone, a Liverpool fan, who claims to be in the know. So I'm just going to share this with you guys with regards to their starting 11. Now, he's gone with Adrian in goal, Neco Williams, Reece Williams, alongside Virgil van Dijk. So he's included Van Dijk in that starting lineup, and he's also included Mohamed Salah. I'm not going to go through the rest of it because it's Liverpool and we don't really give a shit. But it feels very much like we could see a couple of the Liverpool big boys in there. Again, these are coming from Liverpool sources. I don't know for sure if that is correct, if it's not. But if they were to start, if Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah were to start this game, I'd be very surprised. And I think it would be a bit of a sign that Jurgen Klopp sees us as a threat, because we've seen Jurgen Klopp in previous years completely change the team in cup games, not even turn up, give players time off. So for Jurgen Klopp to have done a little bit of a flip and decided that actually Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk need to be a part of this team would be massive, in my opinion, and would be a sign of the respect that he has for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Now, I must stress again that this is coming from a Liverpool source. I have no fucking idea what Jurgen Klopp is going to do, but it seems like there is a chance, at least, that Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah will be involved. Who knows? Right, let's move on to talk about the transfer updates, and I know that's what a lot of you are here for. Everybody's kind of on eggshells at the moment. Everybody's sitting there and going, we want Aouar, we want Partey. When is it going to get done? We're running out of time. Panic stations is the kind of term that springs to mind. Everybody's worried that with the transfer window closing on Monday, we are running out of time to get these deals done. And we are. There's no denying it. We're cutting it fine, as we always do. But I feel like that was always going to be the case in this window. You're talking about a really strange season, started at a strange time. Obviously, we had the disruption last season, which caused the 2019-20 campaign to run over. This one is very condensed. There seems to be football every bloody night. And it just feels like transfer negotiations were always going to be this way. It was always going to be stuff going down to the wire. We're obviously trying to offload players, as everybody knows, and we haven't had the joy, I don't think, that we expected to have had in that department up until now, and that's obviously caused the problem as well. So let's see. Right. First update is on Lucas Torreira. Now, we know that Lucas Torreira is one of the players that Arsenal are looking to move out. And we also know that Atletico Madrid are heavily, heavily interested in Lucas Torreira. Many people thought that their interest in Lucas Torreira would enable us to sign Thomas Partey. And I'm going to just quickly explain to you guys why that isn't as simple as some people would have you believe. Thomas Partey has a release clause at Atletico Madrid. However, that release clause requires a cash offer of 50 million euros to be lodged to trigger that release clause. It doesn't stipulate anywhere in there that it can be done with swaps, with obligations to buy later on, deducting from that amount or anything like that. Somebody has to go and slam 50 million euros on the table, and Thomas Partey would be free to leave the club. There's no way around that. That's what the release clause is. That's what the release clause says. So this notion that we could go there and say, right, well, Lucas Torreira's worth 20 million and Thomas Partey is worth 50, so we'll give you 30 and Torreira, and we can do that. It doesn't work like that. Add to that, Atletico don't want to lose Thomas Partey. He is very much a part of Diego Simeone's plans. They've just brought in Luis Suarez as well. And they're hoping to push on again. They're hoping to compete at the very top of the Spanish game and compete in the Champions League again, like they always seem to do under Diego Simeone. This is not a club who are desperate to sell. This is not a club we can bully into doing business at a lesser price. This is a powerful club in European football at the moment. This is a club who have been on the up, and a club who probably, in terms of European prestige, well, not probably, they are. In the last sort of 10 years, they've been head and shoulders above Arsenal. And so we're not going to bully them into doing this. We're simply not. Now, that's the way it has to be, And I can see some of you in the comments are saying that's not how the release clause works. I've got it on good authority that is how it works. So, maybe you're right. I'm pretty sure that I'm right that it can't be done with a swap deal being involved. It would have to be a case of Atletico saying, here's 20 million for Torreira, and us putting it towards the deal. But they can't deduct money. Now, only if Atletico Madrid decide that they want to sell him for less is that going to happen. And they don't want to sell him for less. That's the whole point here. The only way we can force Atletico to sell Thomas Partey is to activate that release clause. Unless we do that, the ball is in their court. And as I keep saying over and over again, Atletico Madrid do not want to sell Thomas Partey. They want Lucas Torreira in addition to Thomas Partey. Now, it was reported earlier on today by James McNicholas, and Rydog says in the comments, sorry, I'll just come. He says the clause works that way if you want no negotiation, but they can sell for less if they choose to. It's exactly what I've said. Unless they want to sell him for less, then they don't have to, and they don't want to. So it's not happening at the moment. Something significant needs to change for Atletico to change their stance on this, or Arsenal triggered a release clause. It's as simple as that. Going back to Lucas Torreira, there were reports earlier on today, I think it was James McNicholas, kind of blog of The Athletic, who said that Torreira was closing in on a move to Atletico Madrid. Now, that's fine. We know that Torreira wants out. We know that Arsenal want Torreira out. We know it hasn't particularly worked out for him during his time in England for a number of reasons, one of them being Unai Emery, in my opinion. So, I've got some sympathy for Torreira in that sense. But what is really going to piss people off and what is really going to wind people up is actually that this deal does not, as far as I'm aware, include an obligation to buy at the end of it. Only an option to buy. So Atletico Madrid would have the option to purchase Lucas Torreira at the end of this loan spell on a permanent basis, but they are not obligated to do so, which kind of feels like a kick in the balls from an Arsenal perspective, because Lucas Torreira has very much been one of the players that we hoped we would be able to raise transfer funds from, that we hoped we'd be able to use as someone to raise money for, and then go and use that money to bring in the players that we want. Seems as though that isn't going to be the case. It was put to us yesterday by Kevin Campbell when he was on the show that actually with the sort of knowledge, I should say, that money would be coming in next season, that might be enough for Arsenal to find the money to do these other deals, because they could leverage that, they could use that. The fact that they would know the money was coming in would essentially allow the club to be able to act and leverage that and find ways of raising that money from within the club using other means. But if there's no guarantee, if there's no obligation to buy, how does that help us? And this is where I feel like Arsenal get fucking bullied in the transfer market. If we are not going to get either money now or money down the line, guaranteed, I'm saying. Why are we allowing Lucas Torreira to join Atletico Madrid? Bearing in mind that we want one of their players and they're not budging on it. They're being so hard about the Thomas Partey thing. Their stance is so clear. They're not budging on it whatsoever. Yet Arsenal are going, oh, go on then. If you want to go there, go on then. It's all right. The terms don't favour us, but there you go. It doesn't make sense and it's weak again. And the reports say that a lot of this is based on Lucas Torreira's wishes. Lucas Torreira does want to join Atletico Madrid. He feels like he'd be at home there. Obviously, culturally, Spain is very different. Being Uruguayan, he speaks Spanish, and it would probably be a lot easier for him to settle in there. Of course, add to that the likes of Luis Suarez there as well, and you can understand why he wants to go there. Who wouldn't want to work under someone like Diego Simeone? He's fantastic. So I understand all of that. It just feels like the deal that we're hearing about doesn't suit Arsenal, and Arsenal are being mugged off a little bit here. So I'm not too sure if I'm happy with that. In regards to Symeou, there's still no movement. Arsenal know what they need to pay. They've still not paid it. It's as simple as that. And Lyon's president, Jean-Michel Aulas, he makes no secret of the fact that Arsenal's offers have been, in his words, timid. So we're still waiting for Arsenal to go back and wow Lyon and make them move. He has been very clear in saying, Aulas, that by the time the manager picks his squad on Friday night for the weekend's game, there will be no departures after that, essentially ruling out a move between Friday and Monday's deadline. So it very much feels like Arsenal need to get moving on this and quickly. Now, he says things like that, but at the end of the day, if the offer that he wants comes across the table, I don't think he would turn it away. But are Arsenal going to make that offer? The more we think about it, the closer we get to this deadline, the more we start to think that maybe they're not going to do it. And that is a real concern. Right, get your questions in the live chat box and we'll come to those in just a second. In the meantime, just going to quickly remind you guys that this podcast is sponsored by manscaped.com. So if you want to get your body hair looking as neat and as tidy as the Emirates Stadium pitch, hopefully not as green though, then check out manscaped.com. Here is the Lawnmower 3.0. Check out the cool light. There you go. It's a fantastic product. You get it with all this other stuff. So you get this amazing box. Your balls will thank you. Obviously, you can use it elsewhere, but it's primarily designed for your nether regions. You get a free pair of boxers if you order the whole package. You get some other bits and pieces like the ball toner. Bet you never thought you'd get some of that in your life. Didn't even know this stuff existed before. You also get ball deodorant. Crop Preserver it's called, which is fantastic. So lots and lots of stuff there. And if you do order using our discount code, which you will now see rolling across the bottom of your screen, if I can find it, where is it? Here we go. Enter the discount code Chronicles AFC, all in capitals. You get 20% off your order and free shipping. So it is well worth using the code if you are interested in Manscaped's products. So yeah, do check them out. And thank you to them for sponsoring the podcast and for helping us out. It is very, very much appreciated. Also, if you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're closing in on 9,500 subs. We're on the road to 10,000 subs. And when we get to 10,000 subs, we're going to be having a competition. I'm going to be giving away a brand new official, everything proper one, Arsenal home shirt. So we're going to be giving you guys the chance to win an Arsenal Adidas home shirt. And so stay tuned for that. So if you haven't subscribed already and you want to be in the mix for that, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share the broadcast as well. Right, let's come over to some of your live comments just before we wrap up. Let's see what we've got here. Lots and lots of stuff in regards to Aouar, in regards to Partey, as you'd expect. David says, it's scandalous that our owner cannot... I can't even talk. It's scandalous that our owner cannot just put 45 million and get the player we really need. Yeah, I know it is frustrating, isn't it? And I can't rule out the Cronkies doing that, or finding the way at least for the money to be raised somewhere else, and then with a view to sort of taking it back later on down the line. But given their previous and given the fact they've not done it before, I'd be very surprised if that was going to happen. Um, what else have we got here? Martin says not buying anyone else. Wow. So a lot of people are worried about that. Um, let's see what we've got here. Jay Bowling says all pay installments like other clubs. Easy. Awar, I think, won't sign. Other big clubs apparently are circling Harry. Have heard from other journalists 3 big Champions League clubs are tempted. Yeah, there are other clubs tempted. Bayern Munich are said to be one of them. Juventus are said to be one of them. Juventus, I can tell you, will not be spending that kind of money on a central midfielder during this window. So don't worry about that. And I'm sure Lyon will be looking to sell to the highest bidder. It's not to say that Symeou wouldn't prefer a move to Juve or to Bayern. But I feel like if Arsenal meet what Lyon want, then we're going to get him. But are they going to do that? And are they going to do that before Lyon close the door and say, it's too late now, we're not going to be able to get anyone in, see you later. Now, they have brought in Lucas Paqueta from AC Milan, which many people kind of thought would be Aouar's replacement. But as it stands, Aouar's going to be there, Paqueta's going to be there, because Arsenal just have not met Lyon's asking price at this moment. Chris says, I just don't see it happening, Harry. So lots of people are worried about it. Matt Gray says, there's a part of me that wants that Aouar deal not to happen just to expose these Twitter ITKs as frauds. Rydog says people get panicky so easily. So I'm assuming you're more confident of it getting done. I'm not saying it's not going to get done, but I can't say it is either. And that's the problem here. In an ideal world, you want to get your business done early. You want to get it done as early as possible. You don't want to leave things till the last minute. But we know that that isn't the way football works, and that isn't the way Arsenal work in particular. So I am not in the slightest bit surprised that Arsenal are dragging their heels with this a little bit. And I think that maybe they are waiting for a couple of departures to go through. Whether we get too close to the deadline and they say, right, we're going to just do it anyway, we're going to find a way of raising that money and do it anyway and worry about that later, remains to be seen. We hope they're going to do that, but we can't be sure. We can't be sure at all. Let me just go through your questions again. Here we go. Stuart Nicholson says, if Torreira goes and Partey does not come in, then should we look at our negotiating team? As I've said earlier in the stream, I don't think it's that simple regards to the Torreira and Partey thing. It is it's a lot more complicated than it seems on the eye, I think, and I do worry that the negotiating team are going to get an absolute battering if this doesn't happen. But the reality is that if Atletico don't want to sell Partey and Arsenal don't want to pay the release clause, then there's nothing we can really do about that. What we're hearing as well is that Thomas Partey isn't pushing this move. Thomas Partey would be open to come to Arsenal. I'm sure he would be willing if a deal was to be agreed. But he's not in a place where he is demanding that Atletico let him go, where he's throwing his toys out the pram or anything like that, which obviously plays a part as well. As a selling club, if you've got a player who wants out, who wants to be let go, then you do have a struggle holding on to them. It causes problems, and there comes a point where you probably just say it's worth moving him on, because if we move him on later, we're going to lose money, plus he doesn't want to be here. That isn't the case, though, with Thomas Partey. And so when you take all those factors into consideration, it's as simple as either pay the release clause or not. And if we don't pay the release clause, but we then go and pay 45 million on Symeou, that tells me that Arsenal, A, can't do both, and B, don't feel that Partey is worth that release clause, and that's why they've taken that decision, rightly or wrongly. But anyway, that brings me to the end of today's pre-game live. Just a short one because I am dashing off for the game tonight. Really, really looking forward to it. We're going to bring you reaction to that game, maybe later tonight, just depending on what time I get home. If it's too late, though, I'll do it first thing in the morning. But turn your notifications on just in case, and that way you won't miss it, whatever we decide to do. So hit the notifications, subscribe to the channel if you're new, like the video if you haven't already, and we'll be back very, very soon with more. Come on, Arsenal, let's go and knock Liverpool out. Let's get back to winning ways. Let's get revenge for not only what happened on Monday, but for what happened in last season's Carabao Cup tie up at Anfield as well. Until next time, the sun's just started coming in my eyes, bloody hell. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe. Cheers.